Good morning.
Hi there.
How are you?
Hello, everybody.
I'm waiting for
All
the music,
right.
but it's not happening.
We're here. We are.
Mary, try and sort this one out. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish.
Yeah.
Instrumental break.
Hello there, Joey.
Good morning, Father Fish. How are you?
I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, okay. Me too.
Huzzah!
Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. 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 Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish.
Yeah. Thank you, Meister Lee.
Yes. That's a good upbeat one to get you going in the morning.
It absolutely is, isn't it? I get this camera position. There we are.
I know, mine's never in the right place.
I
I think it moves. I think I get it where I
do.
like it.
Yeah.
And then it just moves as we go along.
Well, I was talking to this lady friend last night, and I was leaning back in my chair, so I moved the camera over. Oh, guess who's here? Guess who's here? What in oh my?
Oh.
There's breakfast. There's my breakfast.
Oh, bon me the TV.
Good morning,
Oui, oui, monsieur. Merci beaucoup. Oh, that's delightful.
No steak for you, honey. Tell him.
Oh,
Hi,
No steak for you.
oh, no.
You're a bad boy showing us that steak, showing us your great breakfast.
What a bad man. Ah,
I'll give you credit. I'm not going to get up and cook steak in the morning.
I got a little oatmeal here. I guess I'll do that.
Yeah, that's your thing. You eat that oatmeal.
My oatmeal, right.
Well, good morning, SHOAL. We'll get it together here in a minute.
One never knows.
Take us a while.
Oh dear. Thoughts and prayers with Mary and Megan this morning. She's
yes, that's right. Morgan.
No T-bones. No T-bones.
Oh, you're hurting me. You're hurting me. No T-bones. Ah, what's the big one with the big rib? What's that called? A tomahawk. You know what a tomahawk is?
I don't.
Yeah, tomahawk is the big prime. What's it called? The prime.
The tenderloin.
The tenderloin, yeah, connected to the rib, and they have a whole rib, so it's like this big rib, a foot and a half long, with the tenderloin on the end of it. It looks like a tomahawk, so they call it. It usually weighs 2 to 3 pounds. It's a very hefty, or more, very hefty piece of meat. Oh dear.
Well, apparently, Catfish Terry says hi, sending it through my sister. Hello,
very
Fish
nice.
too.
Through your sister. That's funny.
Hello, yeah, through
Cowboy
my sister
Steak. There it
Stephanie.
is.
Yep.
Stephanie, Cowboy Steak. Right.
Yeah, Cowboy Steak. Yeah.
Tomahawk Steak, says Paul C. Right.
Yeah.
Is very hospitalized. No, she is not. Her
Oh,
daughter.
no. Yeah.
Her daughter is having a procedure this morning.
Right.
So Mary is with her.
Yes.
And they are in the hospital. But it's Morgan that's going through the.
Right.
And I don't know how serious it is, or even
I didn't
what
ask
it
her
is.
that. I just wished them well, and
Right.
didn't think it was my place to ask. So I
Well,
didn't.
now. Big City Meadows. Glass Box. John Larson.
Yes.
John, did I thank you for your Christmas gift? I did not on this channel.
I was gonna say I don't think you did.
I did on somebody else's channel.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I didn't hear you.
But I didn't hear, and I do thank you so very, very much. It's very generous of you and very kind of you. And I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate the kindness and the efforts and the generosity of fellow shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I should elucidate a bit on that, I guess.
Okay.
For the benefit of those, we're early in the stream, so we only have the creme de la creme here at this moment. So you will all be in the know, as it were. I've been running this shop for about 15 years. And I've never run it as a money making venture. It's always been just an extended hobby. There were various times when when I did make some serious money, but I pumped it all back in. I didn't put any of it aside. More's the pity. As it turns out, it would have been wise for me to have done that. But typically for Father Fish, Luke Foxwell, I didn't. I usually don't. When I have a windfall, it goes, it sort of dissipates in the wind. The wind drops it and then picks it up again. So, in any case, I've reached the point in about 2 years ago where I decided I really needed to begin to move in another direction. Now, I'm not about to just plop this thing and walk away from it. I've got much too much invested, not just in terms of money, but in terms of soul, in terms of heart, on energy and lifestyle and everything else. So, but my goal is to be able to get out from under it and to free myself to be able to do more with what has been developing and growing here on this channel. I started this channel as a way to maybe make a little bit of money to be able to kind of free myself. And that's happening. It's slow and it's gradual, but it definitely definitely is happening. And depending on where the current growth spurt takes us, it could happen sooner than later. But I think it will happen in any case, so long as I can live long enough to appreciate it and and enjoy it. And that's always the great unknown, isn't it? So in any case, what I'm trying to do is put together an alternative lifestyle that'll allow me to free myself from retail jail and be able to get out into the wider world and do some of the fun things that I have postponed for the last 15 years. There are lots of really neat things right here in Florida I'd like to go see, and there are lots of people who I'd love to have the chance to visit, among whom are Joey and Mary and Cass and Aquarium Cop and just all of the people who I have befriended and have befriended me here on this channel. So I'm working toward that, and I hope one day soon to be able to achieve it. What that'll mean for the shop, I really don't know. Thomas is here and he's loving it and he's wanting to be part of it. He's a very young man, but he's industrious. So who knows? Maybe he could take it over. I don't know. Or I can simply liquidate and save a bunch of the nicest tanks I have to be able to set them up in a little a home base operation.
Yeah.
None of that is defined yet. It's all still up in the air and still open to influence and direction and to the gods, as it were.
Well, I understand you wanting to get out from being tied to the retail shop. It's a lot.
Oh yeah, it really is a prison. I've cut the hours down some, but even so,
yeah.
And doing this puts a a little flavor in it, makes it more palatable, and in truth, it's bringing people in. I have people coming into the shop every day who found me on this channel, local people. So that's pretty nice too.
I'd say that must be fun. Nice to hear.
It really is. It really is. People. But it's 15 years. That's as long as I've ever done any one thing in my life. So it's time to move on.
But you're also, at a point in your life where you'd like a little bit of freedom, and I understand that.
Yeah, right. Well,
you're not free.
I'm 80 years old this year, so it's time to get out and kick up my heels and run and play in the field, right?
But you made the comment of just seeing things in your own state. I'm guilty of that. There's so many things in my own state that I've never seen, let alone the United States.
Yeah, really.
And because we all get wrapped up in our lives. And
right. Well, I've never been to the West Coast, and I would love to go to the West Coast.
Right. Yeah, so
I'd love to see the Pacific Ocean and some of those. I can't walk the rocks anymore.
I hear you, but there's still, but like you said, there's still so much you can go see and enjoy. Yeah, and people to visit because you have friends now all over the United States.
Oh, I do, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Amber has a really good question for you.
Yes.
At 9:12.
All right.
Her question is thoughts on using UV sterilizers to kick the occasional velvet outbreak. I hesitate to use copper on my delicate species as my wild bettas, but they are so prone to velvet.
Interesting, isn't it? Keep in mind, velvet is fungus. It's fungus. And fungus only grows on dead tissue. Does not grow on live tissue. The tissue is killed by bacteria. So the underlying issue is bacterial infection. So you want to treat for that. And the treatment typically is more gentle than the sorts of things that are sold for fungus. In point of fact, fungus, there is no treatment for fungus. It's meaningless to kill fungus because fungus is never the problem. Fungus is a manifestation of a deeper problem. And the deeper problem is bacteria. Bacteria that has infected the body of the fish. So you treat that.
Okay.
It could be injury. It could be anything. It could be dirty water. It could be, when you're dealing with wild caught animals, particularly bettas and a lot of the licorice gouramis, for example. Their natural conditions are very, very different from the kind of conditions that we keep our fish in. For example, many of the little tiny fish from Borneo, like the licorice gouramis, the chocolate gouramis, a lot of the wild bettas, they come out of water that has an extremely low pH, down around between 3 and 5, if you can imagine such a thing. I mean, we don't even know how to get it that acidic.
Right.
We can't do it. Not naturally. So, very low pH. One of the benefits of a very low pH is it controls bacteria. You don't get bacterial infections with it. So, it's not necessarily poor husbandry that causes these fish to have problems. It's simply water conditions that they're native to that we have great difficulty replicating. I need to get Andres back up here. Andres
Okay.
is an absolute master in controlling pH. He routinely is able to get pH down to 3.0, and he
Okay.
does it. He does it in ways I don't even begin to understand.
Well,
Um, yeah,
that might be helpful. I mean, I know Amber does a lot and she's great at it, but she also added that the particular species that she's keeping can't handle salt or the high temperature. So that, makes a difference. But I
right.
know she's into the natural tanks and, the
Yeah, see what you
leaves and everything.
see what you can do to get the pH down, and I'll get some more information about that. I will at least talk to Andres. He's due here anytime. It's bringing me
That
a
would
bunch
be
of fish.
great, just
Yeah,
for that one thing.
I will talk to him and get if I can understand what he's doing. He's run this by me several times, and I haven't grasped quite what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I will do it again and try to get that information and get it out to you. And if I can get him up here, I know he'll be happy to do it. If we can work out a way to get him back on, we'll do that as well, and we can talk to him about that.
Well, and the fact that he's willing to share is amazing too, because not everybody is,
Yeah, he
willing
really
to
is.
share.
He's really remarkable. It's one of these. He probably is the best breeder, tropical fish breeder in the country,
Wow.
and
That's a statement, so he must be good.
he's a remarkable guy because he should be wealthy based on that, and he's not. Now he has a very nice farm, a very nice home. He's raising his two children. Has a lovely friend, a lady friend, who is French, as a matter of fact. She's a Parisian, a Parisian woman, and just as alluring and delightful as she could be. Very mature, very sophisticated, um, very slim. Just the kind of the kind of person you'd imagine, a 45-year-old French woman to be. Um, but in any case, he has a very nice life. He's from Canada. His family is all in Canada, and he really would like to go back. Um, he's here for the duration. He's here and the duration is whatever it is, I guess. Until something in the earth shakes and he's suddenly loose. I think what it'll be, he's living on a piece of property that is part of 5 other larger pieces of property, all of which will it's at some point be sold to a developer to put in a mega um, estate development. It's he's kind of in the heart of Sarasota. He's in the northeast quadrant of Sarasota, in a very rural community, but it is less than a mile from the bustling city. So it's a remarkable location. And the other 4 people who own those properties are all elderly people who are not going to be there much longer. So that's bound to happen. And when it happens, my hunch is he'll have enough money to do whatever he chooses, and will probably return to Canada and do his fish in Canada.
Well, and then we won't be able to get his fish. So
I know
that'll be a little
we
bit
won't.
sad.
That's right.
But nice for him to do what he would like to, accomplish in life. Be able
Yeah,
to go home.
really,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, So little about Andre. Remarkable man, just remarkable. I've known
Well,
him, golly, 25 years, I guess.
yeah, I mean, I've seen the once or twice that you did have him up or did some sort of a video, or a couple times you went to his farm when
Yeah,
you did,
that's right. That's
some
right.
live stream filming.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's really cool.
And he does not do one thing. He does he goes through whatever he feels is new and exciting and interesting that he takes an interest in. He'll learn how to keep and learn how to breed those fish. And he may take a year or two doing that, going through that process of figuring how to do it. And then he'll get into he used to get into a commercial level and start producing large numbers. He doesn't do that anymore because he found he can do as well selling basically online at retail. So he's available. You can find it's
Oh,
bioaquatic.
I see his
Bioaquatic.
fish. Yeah.
You can find him on eBay. You can also find him on
Get Gills.
yeah,
He's on
he's on
Get Gills.
Gills. He is.
He
That's
also has
right.
his own website.
And Aquabid and his own
Yeah.
website,
He
right?
has his own
Precisely.
website. Yeah.
And that's basically how he's supporting himself today. I knew a number of guys who have made that transition, and it's really been the web that's made it possible for them to do it. They've transitioned from trying to be a wholesaler or a farmer selling to wholesalers
Mm-hmm.
to being a farmer selling to hobbyists, selling directly.
Um, yes, as I say. Well, my niece just popped in. Good morning, Tiara.
Oh, hello. I'm
And
not. Yeah, I need to get back
what I
over.
was going to add to that, because I can kind of see it, it sounds like he just likes the challenge of figuring out a species and figuring out how to breed it. And then when he gets successful with it, he wants another challenge, which I
Well,
get.
yeah, I think that's right. I think
You
that's
know,
exactly right.
I understand that
And
because that's
he
what keeps you.
revels in that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing a lot of Tanganyikas right now, and he's also doing he's doing more kind of high end angels, um, and some oddball convicts,
Me too.
as well as any number of other things. He did the Neo Caridina for a year or so, a couple of years, where he was producing them by the thousands. He's done Endler guppies. He's done everything. He's done all kinds of fish over,
Yeah.
over the years he's been doing this.
I forget that you've got that bird in there. It's much more talkative than
He really is. Yeah, it's an African gray that
Yeah.
we have that we're and he's very chatty and very friendly. But I
That's so
don't take him
funny.
out of the cage.
Right.
It's not
Well,
my bird, and I don't want to take the risk of taking
oh, I
him
don't
out and
blame you.
having something happen.
Yeah.
So
No, I
he
don't blame you. But
stays.
I'm
Yeah,
used to
he
hearing
stays in the
birds,
cage.
but not that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Plus, he's not clipped. I don't want him flying
oh
away.
no, you don't want to let him out. Yeah. No.
I am sorry to do this, but I took a pill this morning and I need to take a break.
Okay.
Do
You
you
want
want
to
to?
just play a song
Yeah, we can do
for a
that.
minute? Okay.
Let's do that. We can go back and look and see what we got. How about the Father Fish song?
Sure. Because I'm gonna go get another coffee.
The fish. One place to go to if you have Vic. Your fish may itch or even flash. So Father Fish is your one-stop cap. Capital with an inch of sand. Capital with an inch of sand. Raise the temperature with a helping hand. And add some garlic on top of that sand. The itch will go, your plants will grow, and all of your fish will have a happy home. Father Fish, so Father Fish, your one-stop wonder if you keep fish. starring Sir Father Fish and all his followers on the Father Fish channel. Over to you, Sir Father Fish.
Oh, we need to do this. Let's do this.
What are we doing?
I see neons green, red roses too. I watch them swim for me and you, and I sing to my friend. What a wonderful show. I see meadows blue and angels white, green growing plants and deep living sands. And I sing to my friend, what a wonderful show. The colors of the rainbows, as pretty as can be, are also on the guppies that dance for you and me. I see friends coming in, saying, let's talk about fish. They're really saying, I love you. I hear water splashing. I watch it flow. With Father Fish I learn there's so much more to know. And I sing to my friend, what a wonderful show. I sing to all my friends right here. What a wonderful, wonderful show. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Very nice, Father Fish.
Thank you so much.
Good job.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things I
Thank
want
you,
to
thank you, thank you, thank you.
thank you very much. To what we were talking about is anybody that's local can buy some Andre's fish in your store. You carry his fish.
Yeah, that's right. I do
if they
indeed.
would like to swing over and buy some.
Yeah, I do indeed.
And also, I think that we should mention how to get your fabulous mugs and how to
Absolutely.
support Father Fish.
Father Fish. Father Fish mug is available through PayPal. It's the easiest way to get it. Send your name and address with $25, and we will ship you at no additional cost this magnificent 12 ounce without the coffee stains.
Right.
We could send a used one, I guess.
No, let's not.
A premium cop might like it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Whoop, where are we? There it is.
Okay.
Right,
No, I
right
got
there. Oh my.
So anyway, yes, and they can join your membership also, correct? If they would like to.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And how would they go about doing that?
Well, there are any number of ways, aren't there? As many ways as there are stars in the sky.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm.
You may become a member on YouTube, and I don't know what that gets you exactly. It gets you a badge. You get a badge when you, like this. For example,
Badge of honor.
Logan's just
Logan
became
just
a
came
member.
in,
Right there it is. See him? Oops, where is he? Right there.
Okay.
So that's how you do it. You click on membership.
Oh, very nice, Logan.
Okay, membership is now Logan's is now a snook. Welcome, Logan's.
Very nice.
You may also go to Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
They become a member of Patreon. You may send a monthly gift or even a one-time gift to Father Fish through PayPal. You may purchase items through Get Gills or the Father Fish Aquarium's website. That's Father Fish Aquariums. Or you may simply put a check in the mail, as some of our friends have done recently.
Mm-hmm.
All of which is going into an escape fund for Father
That's
Fish,
funny.
to bail him out of retail jail.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully Thomas will just continue to love running the store and it'll all work out for you.
No, he very much wants to.
Yeah. So, okay. I was just looking for some questions while you were talking. And I don't think I really noticed a question, but I did notice a really nice statement from Amber. And she was talking, and now I'm trying to scroll that. At 9:23, can you find that and read that? And then I'm going to continue saying hi to a few folks that just came in. But it's really interesting. And there must be something about it. I'm not sure.
Who is it from? I'm sorry.
From Big City Bettas, from Amber. 9:23.
Got it. The pH is 4.5. They were collected at 5.0. They keep and maintain many low pH tanks. They're wild betta species. Candy discovered last in 2018. It was actually the first to document breeding in captivity. Wow. Very nice. Very cool. Impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, and you're
neat.
still getting a fungal problem. Gee. You might try.
Low pH.
Yeah, I would drop it a little lower.
Okay.
So, drop it down to 4.0 if you can. That might resolve the issue. Chemicals are going to be tough because they're coming from what really is very pristine water. Anytime the pH gets down that low, there's not a whole lot else living in that water in terms of microbial activity,
Right.
which is why bacteria can swarm and just kind of explode.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, she's really good at doing all those things, so maybe she
Right.
already knows a way to drop it more.
Yeah, and again, I'll talk to Andres about that and
Okay.
see if he can
I'm sure for
get it
people
through
like
my thick
Amber
head.
that are breeding, those low pH fish, having Andres come on and speak would be
Yeah,
really informational.
I think you're right. And I know he's perfectly willing to do that. I will contact him and
And like I said, the fact that he'll share is amazing.
yeah, we'll see if we can
We
set
should
up
take
for later
advantage of
today.
it if he's willing to share.
Precisely.
We should take advantage of his knowledge.
We will do so later in the week. We'll try to get
Okay.
for
That
later.
would be really fun if he can do it. You might have to go to him. You think? Or would he?
We can get it. We can just link
Oh,
up.
we'll just get him to come on. I was thinking you wanted him to come to the store, and I was like, which would be
Oh
fun
no,
too. But
no.
yeah,
we'll
we can just
link
do
up.
it. Yeah.
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 There is some very
Does he tone his breeding down in the winter? Is he doesn't do as much. He doesn't really do the pond stuff. He does the tank stuff, right? So he's able to
indoors. He's in a greenhouse, so
Okay.
so long
So
as he can maintain the temperature, which he does, I mean, pretty well. It's rarely a problem.
I'm sure.
So no, I mean, it is seasonal. With any farmer, it's seasonal.
Sure.
He's gearing up for the spring now and setting up a whole bunch of new tanks and stuff. He's become very interested in the Tanganyikas, particularly the Shelleys. So he finally has been getting more of those, and he brought me over a few recently.
Yeah. Oh, and RonHan is reminding everybody to hit the like button. That would be awesome. And have your Shelly started breeding since you added those colorful shells?
No. At least I don't think so. I haven't looked carefully, but I will.
I just wanted it to happen just because I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, right.
Me. You know me.
Well, you never know.
No, you don't know. It's like sometimes you can miss things easily. There could be babies in there and you don't see them.
Oh, this is interesting. Ali Shan is asking, will pH that low also affect denitrifying bacteria?
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
Good question.
It should not.
That bird is funny. Sorry.
Paul C is saying a pinch of baking soda keeps it alive. Of course, so it does. What that does is bring the pH back up.
I was just going to say, but that's also going to raise the pH, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And Sharpies is saying ammonia loses its toxicity at the very low pH levels.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't keep anything at low pH. Everything I've got is above 7.0.
Yeah, I don't keep anything low. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything below 7 actually.
Me either.
So I don't have much experience with it. Never have actually.
Me either.
Back when I was doing wild bettas, it was actually someone else doing them. I wasn't doing them. I mean, I've got a few once in a while, but.
Brienne has a question for you at 9:41. If you want to read that.
Brienne, how long would it take for 2 large bags of carbon to remove cupramine in a 75-gallon saltwater? Good morning. How are you? Thomas just walked in.
Good morning, Thomas.
Good morning. I gotta go pull a snail out of the saltwater overflow. It's clogged up again.
Oh, again? Oh my.
Where's the camera here?
Good morning, Thomas.
Good morning, you guys. I hope you had a good Christmas.
Yes, thank you. You too.
Okay, so the
How long will it
chlorine.
take? I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Me either.
It depends on the flow. It depends on how much cupramine is in there. It depends on the relative strength of the carbon. There are different strengths, if you will, of carbon based on the temperature at which they're created. Carbon created at a very high temperature of like 2,000 degrees will absorb a great deal more and absorb for a longer time than much lower temperature created carbon. So there's so many variables: the volume of water, the flow of the water, um, the, the 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 amount of other um, uh, material in the water. There's no way to know. Um, Cupramine, and there's really no way to test for cupramine. What I recommend, if you're going to be doing toxins as treatment in your tanks, is to follow it up. You can certainly do a carbon bag, but also do substantial water changes, and don't do just one. If you do a 25% water change, you will have reduced the volume of the toxin by 25%. By doing another 25%, you reduce it by 42%. So it you have to do a long series of moderate water changes in order to really be able to get it out. Um, but that's ultimately the solution. Now, one of the problem with copper, for example, of which I guess cupramine is a derivative, is that it gets into the substrate. It'll actually etch its way into the silicone that's holding the tank together. So once you put copper in a tank, you literally don't get it out. It becomes a permanent part of the life of the tank. So it's not. I don't recommend it. I quit using copper a long time ago for that very reason that it's an extreme toxin, and once in it doesn't come out. And if you're treating saltwater, for example, or even freshwater with inverts, saltwater with inverts, that copper has a very substantial impact on any kind of invertebrate. So you may get rid of the problem and create a long-term problem that's going to dramatically affect what you're able to do in that tank for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Breon is
All right.
talking about 5% copper. Yeah, any level of copper. I don't like copper
Isn't good.
personally.
Yeah. We have another question from Nicholas. He says, "Is it true powder blue dwarf gouramis need slow-moving water?"
Well, I'm just trying to think if there are any gouramis that do not need slow-moving water.
I think
Probably
they appreciate. Yeah, as I say, I think
Yeah.
they appreciate the slower moving water.
the Osphronemus, maybe, when they get 2 foot long.
You know, they're a surface breather.
They're a pond fish, lake fish.
Right.
They're really not a riverine.
Right. So I would say yes.
Or a stream fish. So I don't think they appreciate at all. And if you look at the way they nest, that's usually a pretty good good giveaway on what a fish's native condition is. they blow a bubble nest that sits on the surface. Now,
like a betta.
that ain't going to work in any kind of flowing water. It'll just wash away. So they depend on still water in order to be able to breed.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. And Chris
Big city
Streeter
builders.
Chris Streeter says copper bad, father fish. Yeah, copper is bad for your
Copper bad, right? I would say copper bad.
Yeah, copper is bad. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Any toxin is going to work if you're trying to get rid of an organism. You can put a toxin in it, and it'll get rid of the organism. But toxins are not organism specific. In other words, if you got a bacteria and you put toxin in to get rid of the bacteria, it's going to affect more than that bacteria. It will affect that bacteria, but it'll affect everything else as well. So you need to be sensitive to how you're treating. I mean, we do that with medicine. When people have infections, they take an antibiotic. Well, the antibiotic affects not just that infection; it affects the whole body and all of the bacteria in the body, which is why you wind up having to restore your digestive system after taking antibiotics because you've killed off all of the flora that helps you digest food. So just be sensitive to the fact that when you put any kind of toxin or any kind of biological medication in your system, that it's affecting more than the target uh, uh, problem. It's affecting everything in the tank, which is why those of us who are committed to protecting the the flora and fauna in the tank, the microbiology of the tank, are very cautious about introducing any kind of biological treatment, any kind of chemical at all, because it can devastate the system. It can it can literally it'll get rid of the disease and everything else in the process.
So, are you done there?
Yeah.
Okay. At 9:48, Scale Molding has a question.
Oh, Big City Bet. I was just on Big City Bet again. She thinks
Okay.
that the slime coat is the issue. Well, it kind of always is.
I was gonna say that goes with what you were saying. Yeah.
Well, um, and slime coat's a curious thing. There is a strange um, behavior or characterization of fish that causes them to drop their slime coat when they're stressed. Now, I don't know if they're actually dropping it or simply increasing its production, but it looks like dropping it, and they become uniquely susceptible then to fungus. Well, the reason we do salt is to slow the body of the fish down. It also creates as a defense mechanism more slime coat in order to prevent that salt from intruding into the body. Um, but when you're talking about fish that are living at very low pH levels, you can't introduce salt because it itself becomes a toxin and will kill the fish or cause even greater stress. It's a delicate little operation, in which all of the standard rules that we use with higher pH fish don't apply. And as I said, I don't have much in the way of experience with that, so I really can't be very helpful. I lean on people like Big City Bettas to teach me how to deal with these kinds of issues. What was the question? I'm sorry, Joey.
Well, it was scale molding at 948. They asked the question: do you feel water changes are needed for fish / planted tank if all the parameters okay on a cycled established tank? But I guess we don't know if it's a dirted tank or if it's just got regular substrate. They don't mention
You
that.
feel water changes are needed if all the parameters are okay. Oh, okay. I understand the question.
You know what I mean? But we don't know what sort of substrate they have,
Um,
and if that
well,
would matter.
at least, yeah, true enough.
That would make a difference if it was gravel versus dirted or just sand. It would make a difference, correct?
Yeah, it absolutely would.
Yeah.
If it's a gravel tank with like 1, 2, 3 inches of gravel, then you've got dissolved solids um, that are not coming out, that are staying in the water column, and you need to do water changes in order to be able to reduce that level of dissolved solids. If you have a deep substrate, then those dissolved solids are precipitating into the substrate and being broken down. So it's acting um, more as uh, a filtering agent that's actually reducing the the dissolved solids in the water, and gives you a better sense of balance. So I think Joey's right. It depends entirely on how you're maintaining the tank. If you're maintaining your system, if the maintenance on your system is dependent on removing a certain portion of the water routinely in order to be able to maintain its balance, then you reduce a portion of the water routinely. If you're doing deep substrate, and by that I mean 3 to 5 inches of substrate, then that becomes less significant because the substrate is pulling a lot of those minerals out of the water and uh, keeping the mineralization lower. So, it depends entirely on how you're maintaining your tank. It can be stable in both cases, but the stability in the case of a gravel or a bare tank is dependent upon doing water changes, whereas with the deep substrate, it's not.
So my sister has a question for you at 9:55. So that's Tashita Heaven. But my niece has joined in today, and her son Desmond is watching, and the question refers to him. And I don't know if you can help.
Oh, oh my. Well, I've had a lot of Verities, and they're really pretty nice. Um, I would recommend for a 9-year-old that you get a female if you can. The females are less aggressive, and the only real difference is the males show more black under the throat, and their heads get a little bigger. They will grow a little bigger too. So, it kind of depends on what you're looking for and what you want. I mean, a 9-year-old may want that big mean male who might turn into a biter.
Okay,
You
good,
kind of never
good
know.
advice.
Whereas the females will not typically turn into a biter. The male could. They don't always. They don't even particularly routinely. If you're handling the animal every day, they're not likely to become a biter. It's only when they are used to being left alone that they suddenly don't appreciate the intrusion of a hand coming toward them, and will
Right.
try to keep it away. So it depends too on what you're going to be doing. With children, they like to be able to hold their pets. So so long as you're doing that on a regular basis, and I would recommend if you get one, don't get a little tiny one. Don't get a little 2 or 3 inch guy because they're much harder to keep alive. Um, get something that's maybe 4 to 6 inches, just a little bigger, that's more established. It's got eating patterns that it has developed. It's a healthier, and make sure it's healthy. I mean, make sure it doesn't look scrawny or weak or droopy. Make sure it's active and alert and busy, and watch it eat before you buy it.
Good point.
Have whoever owns it feed it so you can see how it's eating and that it's eating. And when you do feed, the younger ones need a lot of protein. They need a lot of insects. But as they get older, they like more vegetables, and you can feed a lot of vegetables. I mean, these are animals that eat cactus, so they can eat some pretty thorny stuff. But
Really? I didn't know
softer
that.
vegetables, yeah,
Wow.
softer vegetables are something they will really enjoy. The younger ones don't eat them so much, but as they get bigger, they do.
Okay. Well, hopefully that helps. That's a lot of information.
Yeah, that helps control the food bill too. Now, if I would feed one other thing. Feed superworms, but with the young ones, you want to break the head off the superworm because the
Well,
young one can eat it whole. Bite them on the inside.
I've wondered about that. Those worms look monstrous. That's a good point.
Now, a bigger animal will kill it because its bite is hard enough to,
Yeah.
to crush it, but a smaller one might not. Um, which is why people will typically feed crickets to the smaller ones.
Okay.
Um, I just find crickets harder to keep. Superworms are very, very easy to keep. You don't lose them. Crickets are a bother.
So, are super worms different from mealworms, or are they the same?
Same difference.
Okay.
The
I was just
superworm
making sure.
it's bigger than a mealworm.
Yeah.
Mealworms are probably preferable for the little ones
Yeah.
if you can get them. They're smaller and they're less.
But still, cut the head off. Make sure they.
Well, not so much with the mealworms
Okay.
because
All right.
they're a softer bodied animal, and they're going to be easier for the little guys to manage.
Yeah.
I don't
Carlos,
get them. I don't have them. I normally
yeah.
don't. I'll get small superworms. The superworm is a worm that gets an inch plus long.
Yeah. But that would be too big for a little guy anyway, right?
Usually want to feed crickets to the
Yeah.
small guys.
Furlough says.
And they
crickets
require
stinks.
live food. If you're going to feed bugs, you got to feed live bugs.
Right.
Otherwise,
Okay.
you feed vegetables.
Well, I know there's plenty of veggies in the house for them to feed.
There you go. Well, and they will love that. They'll enjoy it.
Okay. Well, good. That's good. Really good information. You actually told him more than I was expecting. So thank you so much.
Furlough is saying, I feed my beardies collards, squash, and blueberries, and sometimes strawberries.
Nice. That's good.
Science Gal is here. Hello, Science Gal.
Oh yes, Carrie's been here for a while.
There's
so many people
there.
Here.
Hello, hello. Hat Trick is here. Hello, Hat
No,
Trick.
she wouldn't like that. Crickets
Rodney
do stink.
Smith.
I'm sorry. Go buy them in the store. They smell.
Oh, listen to this. Rodney says, sounds like Dixieland. We'll be praying for the next break. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Water I deal with here is different than Texas. Rating Papa Shrimp. Yeah, talking about that's true. When you move, you could be moving into an environment that has completely different water from what you're used to dealing with. Scale modeling channel for my next set up my challenge will be the father fish method. Go
I
for it.
know. That's
Go for
awesome.
it. Scale modeling. You betcha.
Yeah. And I feel bad because I call them scale molding, but I'm sorry, scale modeling.
Oh, Sharpies
I
is
just looked
saying
at it quickly. Sorry.
I'm missing part of the conversation.
Oh, we always do.
He's saying I've caught the same species in different water bodies, and the slime coats have been noticeably different. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Oh, Big City is saying I've wondered if slime coats develop healthy bacterium that is unique to the area the fish reside in, and that's why it's so tricky with some of these fish and their slime coat health. I'm absolutely certain that's true. I'm absolutely certain that the biologicals that they live in their native environment are not easily duplicatable. What we ought to what we ought to be doing is shipping um, malm from wild caught native populations
That's a good idea.
with the fish so that we can get those biologicals.
Yeah.
That would be
That's a really
that
good
would
idea.
not be a difficult thing to do at all.
No.
But I dare say is something that very few people have given any serious consideration to. I don't even know. I don't even know if guys bringing back uh, malm or dirt or detritus or whatever from the jungle floor or from the water column when they
Well,
catch wild fish.
I'm going to say no because, the added cost and weight to shipping, they're not thinking along those lines.
True, but
But
it doesn't need to be much. I
no,
mean,
but
an
you have a
ounce,
really good
an
point.
ounce is more than enough.
And Amber can get that because she deals directly with her farms and her
Yeah, why don't
resources.
you look
So
into that, Amber? See if
she should
see
be
if
able to
you
get
can
that.
get some native culture, and then try to set that up in a relatively sterile environment, so that you're only getting that native culture flourishing. That would be really interesting then to see how that how
That
how
might be the breakthrough.
how
That
productive that could be.
You know what I mean? That might
But
be the
no,
breakthrough moment.
you bet, you bet.
I just hit on something big. So,
What it, that's funny, isn't it? The bird makes water sounds.
the bird makes all kinds of sounds. I mean, I'm used to the little parakeets in the back and making their
Yeah,
noise,
it
but this bird's
is.
making definitely some new
Harp
noises.
sound.
Funny, isn't it?
I'm
I don't
gonna.
know what's going on. I'm missing something. Everybody's talking about their bank accounts. So I'm missing something.
Talking about what?
Bank accounts. Must
Oh
be.
dear. Oh dear. Yeah, I got to look at that. I haven't looked at
Yeah.
that this morning.
You know that I think it's a 40-gallon saltwater tank we have. It's always
Yeah,
disgusting in
right.
Maine. Are you okay with me draining that and refilling it, or would
Sure.
you rather just?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check the salinity on that second tray. We had a problem with the
Overflow?
with the top off.
Or,
It
yeah.
was disconnected and went dry
All right.
at one point, and I hooked it back up.
I just pulled two.
Also,
Yeah.
there's a broken pipe in the middle vat in the back. I fell into that yesterday. Just fell back into the tub.
Which vat are you talking about? The
The middle vat.
Oh, how'd you manage that?
Tripped on crap on the floor.
That's not
So
good.
that's the other job, is to get the floors totally picked up of everything. Because if I trip, I fall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of critical.
All right.
And then as soon as we get off of this, I want to get together with you on on channel stuff because there's a lot going on.
I noticed.
Did you?
Karen noticed too.
All right. So where are we? We're at 10:07.
Oh, well, Amber said she thought that was a really good idea to try to get some Moam.
Good. Yeah, that'll be exciting. You could then make that available. If you get that cultured, that could be a really dramatic breakthrough in breeding native fishes.
I think that.
I don't even know that Andres has tried to do that. He's tried to replicate, but I don't think he's ever actually gotten cultured from a native environment.
No, I think that like I said, could be a breakthrough moment right there. Could be the answer, which would be amazing.
And you heard it on Fatherfish. Right.
Oh, I haven't even looked. How many likes we got? How we doing on the thumbs up?
We're 40 thumbs up. We have 63 watching.
Oh, nice.
So we can hit it. We can hit it right now. If everybody's watching who has not yet done so, we'll hit the like. There they go. 41, 42.
That would be wonderful.
43. Look at that. Look at it. That's amazing, isn't it?
Well, 46. I know, like I said, I get guilty of it myself. I come in, jump right into the chat.
49.
To hit it.
Here we go. Look at this. 49. One more.
Thank you, everyone.
Here it is. 50. That was 10 in 15 seconds.
Ask and you shall receive.
I love it. I love it.
That is great. Thank you, everyone.
Dixieland. Well, you guys just don't know what you have in store for you. It may take a while. It may take a while.
Oh boy,
we're gonna get there. I am determined we're gonna get there. What else is going on?
I don't know. Everybody's still just discussing things. So I mean, you could pick any little statement and probably go.
I know. Considering my boyfriend, big city, is a mad scientist, love you, Joseph, who turned our basement into a full-fledged lab. We could potentially make a whole project out of this. Now, wouldn't that be exciting?
It would.
TRP had an amazing experience with my shingleback lizards today, with a friend's 6 and 8-year-olds being introduced to lizards for the first time. It was an amazing experience watching the kids' reaction. That is a joy. I love it when children find something here at the shop that they've never seen before, and are able, if they're able to, handle it. Not all things are handleable, but those that are, it is such a thrill to watch a child who is apprehensive or even frightened of something to overcome that fear and to find the sheer pleasure of being able to hold and interact with a little animal.
Mm-hmm.
One fish tank was focused on the guppy fry in Father Fish's beard. Is that right? Yeah, look at that. Sure enough.
Like, you
right
got
there.
a good question. You've got a question at 10:10 from Fragile Reefer.
What's the timestamp on it?
10:10. Fragile Reefer.
Oh yeah. How much different is the Father Fish net method when dealing with a saltwater tank? I'm doing a deep substrate microalgae, seagrass, and mangrove tank looking for pro tips. No difference at all. The only difference is if you're able to get to the sea and can collect substrate from the sea, then that becomes highly preferable to kind of creating it on your own. When I do saltwater deep substrate, if I cannot get substrate from the sea, and of course I can here because I live right on the Gulf.
Right.
I would not do dirt um, because it's the wrong kind of microorganisms. It's not, a lot of them can cross over back and forth, but there are too many differences. Um, what I do is I simply do a deep sand as a bare minimum, a deep sand 3 to 5 inches, and then I add on the top of that a layer of sand, a very very thin layer of sand from an existing old tank, and that brings culture in. Plus, you add live rock and water and algae, macroalgae, and so forth, and you can get that cultured pretty quickly. Be able to keep fish in it right away and get it going if you have access to the sea and can get a bucket or two of live culture. Now, when you do that, you want to go out in the water beyond the tide line, beyond the low tide line, because you want to get dirt that is not ever exposed to the air. You want to get dirt that is genuinely living in the water, and you don't need to go deep. You can kind of skim the surface with it. 2 or 3 inches deep, 4 inches is more than adequate. And as much as you can carry, it's pretty heavy. So you might want to do a small bucket, not a big bucket, like a little kiddie sand, play sand pail would be a lot easier. And you don't need a lot of it. You don't need much to bring culture in. And then when you do that, seed the top, don't seed the bottom. Don't put it in and then cover it with sand. If you can get a lot of it, just use that as the entire sand bed and do it deep if you can do that. Otherwise, put new sand on the bottom and then cap it with 3 to 4 inches even of wild live sand.
Yeah. You've got another question. It's a
Uh,
different question. At 10:11 from
Rodney says he thinks LRB is selling mulm. Could well be.
well, LRB does sell mom, but I think
Okay.
in Amber's case, if she can get it from the source
Oh yeah,
overseas where she's getting
absolutely.
her fish
Right.
from, that's the way to go. But yes, Lucas does
Yeah.
sell mom.
Yeah.
So it's me. Would like to know: will Eco Complete pull out dissolved solids if it's deep, 3.5 inches?
Well, it'll act as an anaerobic layer, so it'll break down. It'll break down waste. It'll break down solids. And it's not the Eco Complete that's doing it. It's simply the media that's 2 inches below the surface. Once you get into an anaerobic layer, a whole other series of things begin to happen. There's a lot of discussion about anaerobics. I was reading something the other day that, on, I don't know where it was, here maybe. Somebody was talking about bacteria actually being the causative agent, which it is, of course, for breaking down waste. And we're getting into some detail about how that occurs, which is, just real interesting stuff. But think about plants. This is a good way to understand it. Oh, that's what it was. He was talking about plants and how microbes affect detritus at the root system of the plant. The roots contain cilia, which are the teeny tiny little hairs on the roots, and it's those cilia that actually absorb nutrients. But before they can, the nutrients have to be broken down anaerobically. So the cilia will actually create an anaerobic environment. The discussion that I was trying to remember was about how that happens, how the plant creates that anaerobic environment with other microorganisms to be able to break down the waste and then be able to absorb it. So if you think about it in those terms, that in order for a plant to be able to absorb nutrients, it has to break those nutrients down anaerobically. If you then create an anaerobic environment, you're creating a very rich culture for plants to thrive in. So they don't have to do nearly the hard work that would otherwise be involved if they're in gravel, for example. Now, you can create anaerobics in gravel, and you will if it sits there long enough and you don't keep stirring it up if you leave it alone. Under gravel filters, for example, always create anaerobic layers because the water flows through as a current and it packs that current, and then the current moves to a less compacted area. But that compacted area then becomes anaerobic and is able to act anaerobically, and that's where the plants will grow. They'll grow in those pockets of waste that are collected more densely in an under gravel filter environment because they're able to have an anaerobic environment there that they need in order to be able to create nutrition.
Father Fish,
Yes,
would you be willing to sell Moan and ship it?
sure.
I think
Yeah,
Lucas sells his for $5 a bag.
yeah. In point of fact, I do that with my saltwater.
Okay.
I do it with freshwater too. I do it with customers who want to get a little bag of culture to be able to kickstart their tank. Yeah, it's a perfectly natural, normal thing to do. I hadn't
Well,
really
I'm
thought
just
about
saying,
it
if people are
beyond that.
looking for a source, you could sell
Yeah,
it to
you
them
bet.
also.
Yeah, I will do that. I'll get it.
Yeah.
We'll
I
get
mean,
it.
Lucas sells his, I think, for $5 a bag, so you
You
can
know,
sell
right.
Moan.
Yeah.
Why not? I just wasn't sure if you'd be willing to ship it, so I thought I would ask. But certainly anybody local could come in and get it. But you could ship it with plants.
The big city. What's big city talking about?
Oh, she's
Papa
talking
Shrimp.
about lots of things. It's hard to keep up with Amber.
Yeah, big Papa Shrimp. It's nerdy but cool, and I always think of things. Has he ever checked out brine shrimp eggs for microorganisms? Wow.
And just getting back to, you were just talking about the Eco Complete and that 3.5 inch
Oh, right.
layer. I mean, they could add sand to that, correct? If they would like to,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that would help out immensely.
Huh. There's quite a conversation going on.
As I say,
Yeah,
that's the
isn't
thing
there?
is it's an in-depth conversation that
Yeah, it
you
really
and I
is.
can't jump into. But I think it's a good one. We'd have to go back to the beginning to understand it.
Who are they talking about, though? Papa Shrimp and Big City Betta are
Yeah.
talking about someone who.
I don't. Is she talking about Joseph or is she talking about somebody else?
I don't
I'm
know.
confused too, but I can't keep up with everything.
Don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
That's one where you probably have to go back and reread because I'm sure it's interesting.
It's
We just can't do everything.
hopeless. We have our own conversation up here, which may or may not have anything to do with what's going on in the chat,
And
and
that's
more often than
pretty
not,
typical.
does not. In point of fact,
And their conversation is good, and so is yours. So
well, it's part of the real value of what we're doing
It
here,
is.
which is creating a community in which people can share ideas, and there's there's a great deal more sharing going on in the chat than there is going on up here on the screen because we're just two and you are many.
Right. No, I agree. You know, Shelby Ray saying Joseph, he's truly a mad scientist, Joey. I know because I have watched Joseph for a long time, so So I am aware. I'm not always in chats. I can be a professional lurker, but I watch a lot of things because I found I can't be in the chat and work on my fish tank, so I have to lurk.
JH Aquatics, all right.
Yes, Joseph. Yep.
Right. Talking about Joseph, thank you.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
All right. Now we get to figure out which type of fish poop base is best for mom. Come on, bristle nose.
Oh boy, I don't know. I mean that.
Tish
Would it
is,
make a difference?
Tish is talking about a
difference?
wooden floor.
I mean, obviously in Amber's case, she would want to get specific. But if somebody was just starting the tank and wanted some mulm, would it make a difference what tank you took it out of? That is a good question.
The older the tank, the better.
Okay.
You know, it'll have more established.
But you're talking about the tank, not specific to the fish. Like you wouldn't say, "Ooh, guppy mulm is better than goldfish mulm." You know?
I would, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. So it's just that you want it from an established tank. Okay.
Yeah, some tanks are more established than others too. I mean, you know,
True.
the duration is not the only consideration.
True. Good point. Good point. Oh, so I don't know. Well, yeah, Amber was saying Amber met me in Joseph's streams, and that is true. That is where we met. Yes. Because I've been hanging around for a long time, like I've said many times. I just never joined in. Probably for almost 2.5 years, I never said a word.
Oh, this is interesting. Sharpie says, last summer, my garden was green and full of flowers. The neighbors were all brown and dead. The difference. Well, I suppose it's because you're not brown and dead the way your neighbors are. I don't know. It's funny the way that's worded. The difference, bristle nose poop. You betcha.
Bristle nose poop is the best poop.
Absolutely.
We could go on. This topic could go on for 15 minutes about the best poop, right?
Amazing.
And you know we're fish nerds when we sit around and talk about poop, worms,
Science Gal says, Amber, I'm still jealous of Joseph's microscope skills. Oh, hang me out to dry. I am worthless with a microscope.
So sorry. I'm so back on that. So morning coffee and let's talk about some poop.
Really?
It's all good.
All right, we're down to the wire here, boys and girls. I think we'll call it a day. Go on over to Discord if you want to keep the conversation. If you, it is a membership site, so you need to make a little donation. But if you'll just sit there and plead nicely, I'll probably let you in.
Oh, so you have to grant them the initial entrance into? Okay.
Yeah, there's a gatekeeper, right?
You're a gatekeeper. Okay.
Right.
Oh, so you have to play
but it is fun.
Yeah,
we've got about 100 people in there, so
that's nice.
It's coming along nicely.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how you have made a bowl of oatmeal last an hour.
It's cold. I've not been eating very tiny bits of it.
I bet it's cold.
All right. Let's see if we got. Here we go. Mr. Wilson.
Michael Long's asking where the link is for Discord. Can you put that up?
Yeah, somebody post a link for Discord, please. It's on the It's on the channel community. It's on the channel membership page.
Okay.
But we'll get it posted.
I don't have it, and I can't do it from this device. But maybe someone else could do it. That's the problem. I can't do things on this device
It's
while
monster
on the
fishing.
show. No, Lori's not here this morning. She would be our girl for sure.
It's on the it's on my channel page under membership. We'll be delighted
Sorry.
to welcome you.
Sorry
All
about
right.
the fish. I'm looking at look at one fish. Let's talk about poop, baby.
I love it. I love it.
do. I love it. I mean, you know, we're fish nerds. We talk about the weirdest
Really.
things.
More.
Back in a minute.
Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish. Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. Fish. More.
Okay. Okay. That'd be great.
Did you put any Epsom salts in there?
No, I have not.
All right, I'll turn on.
All right.
I'm gonna half a cup into something.
Okay.
Did you see the Karen video though?